to go. Okay, cool. Awesome. So we're here today with Catherine Muckle. So hello, Catherine.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming in to talk to us.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us a little bit about what it is you do and how it all started.
So I am a performer, dancer, teacher. I teach loads of different stuff like fitness, Pilates and dance. I think it was a really young age. So I started about 6, I think, and just started dancing. I think I just had too much energy. So my mum was like, get rid of it. Go and get rid of some of your energy. So started dancing then, and then I did loads of different styles of dance, and you know the usual things like ballet, tap, and modern and stuff. I went to college, studied contemporary dance, which was awesome. Then went to university, further studied contemporary dance, and then graduated in 2013 from the Northern School in Leeds. And then I've been kind of teaching and dancing professionally and freelance ever since. So
yeah, and so you're based in the Northeast?
Yeah.
Have you ever felt pressure to move away, move down to London and have, you know, try it down there? What are your thoughts? Because I know so many people do feel that pressure, and it's almost seen as London is where it's all going on. When actually, yes, there's a lot going on, but in the Northeast is buzzing as well.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I definitely felt that pressure before I went to the Northern School. So I auditioned for uni, essentially, which is what Northern School was. I auditioned there when I was 16, and even in the audition, people were talking about all of these different schools in London, and I had no idea where they were, got to be honest. You know, I was like, I didn't want to go to London because I was too young, but I did want to kind of go away from home because at that time there wasn't really like a dance degree or anything like that. I know Dance City, you've got one now, but I think the one in Northumbria had closed or had shut down or whatever, and it was mainly for choreographers as well. So so I went down there and I kind of felt that pressure, I think the first time really, when they were talking about all of these schools, and I had no idea where they were. When I came back, there was a little bit of pressure, but there was also this thing of wanting to come back to the place where I'd grown up and kind of try and make it work there. I'd been away for 3 years, but I did kind of find myself working in a lot of different areas. So even though I was based here, I was doing like projects and auditions elsewhere, like you normally would. But yeah, I think because it was more of a contemporary based route that I went, I didn't feel like there was much pressure for me personally to have to live in London. I think a lot of people that I know who'd done kind of commercial style routes, there was definitely that pressure for them. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like there was at the time more opportunity in London because it's the capital and there's lots of people and lots of different projects being made and stuff, but there's been quite a lot up here. So I've been quite fortunate actually to work with the people who I've worked with up here.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, so we've known each other for quite a few years, and it's one of those things where you've got someone on Facebook, so you feel like you know the ins and outs of their life and what they're doing, even if you don't necessarily see them. And so I've been keeping up to date with what you've been doing. You seem to be super busy, keeping yourself busy. Obviously, you know, being in the Northeast and not down London or wherever hasn't impacted you. You've had a really steady go of things for you, so it's been quite nice. And you also mentioned how it can, you know, it all started for you. So you were interested in it from a young age, then you went to college, university. So you kind of went through all of the right levels to go through. What if somebody was in their 20s, hadn't ever, you know, necessarily studied dance, but has always had an interest in dance and is thinking, okay, that's something that I want to do. It's something that actually really has interested me as a career path. I'm going to give it a go. What would you say, what would you recommend to them because they haven't had that sort of like structure from the beginning? What's the best route for them to go down?
I think, well, normally I would just say, well, just go for it, try it out, and if it doesn't work, then do something else really. But in terms of dance, I think just networking with lots of different people. I know a few people who have kind of studied in different art degrees and actually became dancers through collaboration of different projects. So I think just kind of getting in touch with people that you might be interested in working with. All I'm going to say is no, really, you know. So I think once you I think it's just about getting your name out there, really. And I think social media is really, I mean, I know it's got its cons, but it's definitely helped being able to like access different people kind of even within your area as well, so you can see what they're up to, and like I say, just getting in touch with them, I think, really, and doing classes, figuring out the styles that work for you, and definitely do a range of styles, just to kind of figure that out, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, just go for it.
Just
totally. Jump into it. And I think you mentioned there, using social media to network. Networking is key, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And the Northeast, actually, on the dance scene, there is a lot going on. So do you work with Dance City?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, tell us a little bit about that and what, is there at the moment, what's going on with that, what can people expect?
There's so much, they seem to be constantly evolving their program in terms of teaching. I know obviously it's very different at the moment because of COVID and limited timetables and stuff, but they have a BTEC, they've got a degree, they've got something which is a Centre for Advanced Training, and that's for people if, from a young age they kind of can work through it. But like you say, if you've got people who maybe are at an age where they might have missed that boat, they can still do classes who are, they're taught by professional dancers themselves. So, there's, like I say, there's lots to access there as well.
Just need to look for it. And
Totally.
It's there.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. So, unfortunately, we can't get away from it. I'm going to have to ask you, COVID, how has this affected you? It's been a tough year for everybody. But actually, as I said, I'm a bit of a stalker on social media. So, to me, I've kept up to date with what you're doing. And actually, you've been one of the people that I feel is almost flourished. You're constantly posting about what you've got going on, the different classes, the different things. Tell us a little bit about how you've kind of transitioned.
So it was quite interesting. I've kind of spent, I think, the past 5 years working as a freelancer for lots of different companies, and I'd kind of started setting up my own teaching kind of fitness business that I could kind of be like, this is me from Control and Move Fitness or whatever. But it was definitely working with lots of different companies. And then when COVID hit, we realized that we then had to take everything online. And I feel like you have two types of people in a crisis. I mean, there might be more, but you have people who are super proactive and just are right, no, we'll get this done. And then you have people who are just so overwhelmed by the whole experience. And of course, you can be both of them at any time. But I think at the beginning of lockdown number 1, we were just right, no, let's, we need to get online. Okay, what do you need to do to get online? You need a website. So we made a website in 3 days on our own, it was a bit stressful, but it was it had all the content that it needed. And it just kind of kept that proactivity, I suppose, just rolling really. And it was just a case of, well, there's nothing you can do about it, so you might as well just crack on and get it done. So it was just about being consistent with posts, really. I mean, I'm sick of hearing my voice on YouTube channels. But it's just about being consistent. So yeah.
And I know that you mentioned, the two types of people, you either be productive and just jump into it, or you kind of panic and stop. I think as creatives, most creatives are self-employed, and being self-employed, you have to think outside the box. You're always looking for that next job, that next piece of work. You don't necessarily know where you're going to be next month. Or what you're going to be doing. So to us, really, I think a lot of creatives have flourished because they've needed to continue to think outside the box, and we're all quite used to it.
Yeah, and they've been able to access people who aren't kind of just within their, I suppose, region. I think that's been the amazing thing about being able to deliver online. I've been able to do classes with people who I would have absolutely loved to have done classes with, but they live in America or, down south or whatever. So, so I think creatives have done really well, but I think they've also really struggled with being this little animal in a cage, really.
Definitely. I feel like there's only so much you can kind of do for yourself, and so much positivity and productivity. Is that how you say it? That you can do for yourself, but you still need those opportunities to be made available. And that's something that hopefully coming out of this, there's going to be more of. So with that in mind, where do you kind of see everything going for yourself and your career over the next year, in the sense that hopefully everything's going to be opening back up and going back to normal?
Well, hopefully performing again, because obviously before COVID, that was kind of something that obviously was a huge part of my career, but then theatre shut and everything like that, which was absolutely devastating, and then project stopped. So So performing more, there's a few projects kind of lined up. And in terms of teaching, I actually decided to transition my business to a community interest business. So yeah, because it was just a matter of time really. A lot of the projects that I do just kind of filter straight back into the community. So I just thought might as well just register it as that. So delivering more to kind of, I suppose, different communities, I guess, in a way. So yeah, so more performance and still more teaching really, which is good.
Oh no, that's really, really exciting. And as we say, like, you are definitely someone that's going to push themselves, flourish and like thrive.
Hopefully,
So I'm really excited to see what's going to come from that. So I've got another question for you. And we ask everybody who we've interviewed this question.
Okay.
There's always so many different answers and I love to hear the answers. So if you could go back in time and give yourself some advice, something that you wish somebody had given you when you were younger, what would it be?
Don't worry about being loud. I think, because I've always been quite a loud person, but I definitely, when I was younger, I definitely felt really insecure about it. So it would just be about, don't worry about being loud and just kind of crack on, I suppose, with what you're doing and just see where it goes. I think that would probably be it.
I love that answer. I really, really do. And just actually quickly to touch on that, in a day and age where young people are, I feel like, I don't know, I need to word this carefully, are experiencing lots of different things, especially this past year, mental health has, really struggled, not just for young people, with everybody, but for young people in a time where they should be spending it with their friends, enjoying, figuring out who they are. It's been really, really tough for them. You mentioned, don't be afraid to be loud, don't be afraid to be yourself. I think a lot of young people are going to struggle coming out of this.
Totally.
And I think it's things like dancing, being creative is what's going to help and support as well. Do you?
And I think just the essence that dance can bring, like this kind of sense of community, and I think if kids can find that community which is outside of kind of judging themselves or judging other people, or I think it's going to be such a struggle for them. I think coming back into a normal setting, whatever that normal setting may be. But I think things like dance and creative arts and things like drama and performing arts and stuff like that it's really gonna help them just forget about that and just almost like take on a different character or a different role or something like that, I think.
Yeah, no, I absolutely 100% agree with you. But thank you so much for coming in to talk to us today. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in the future. And as we say, fingers crossed, get back to normality. So good luck.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll hear more from you very, very soon.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.